It's 2002, and Toby has just been brought into the world, born into a family of 5, with 2 sisters. Born in Nigeria, a country known to kill dreams before they are even thought about. Started school at the age of 2 in 2004, and had a normal life growing up with both parents working and putting food on the table like a normal family. The weekend family time, the afternoon play sessions with friends, morning hassle to get to school, Sunday church sessions. Toby lived it all. Fast forward to 2017. He's 15. Toby started to notice some changes around his home. His dad no longer dresses up to go to work every morning. He's been laid off of work. Finances become tighter than it was for a couple of months. Mom's business can't produce enough for the family while dad isn't working, so it starts to crumble. School fees start to get delayed, and meals began to get shortened from 3 times a day to twice a day. The very next year is 2018. Toby is 16, in final year of secondary school, the year he writes his final secondary school exam. He's peeved about the school fees. It's way more than they can afford. Dad and Mom tells Toby that he's going to have to switch from the private school he's attended all his life to a public one, where the fees are cheaper. He's confused, but Dad explains. He does this, or his sisters have to drop out of school for him, so he accepts. Toby starts to understand where his family belongs to in the society rank. Went from being middle-class citizens to being poor. He grew up provided for like a normal child, but things start to decline as soon as he grows older, because the economy in the country is getting weaker, and his dad, who just can't seem to get a job and has to settle as a bus driver to put food on the table. It's 2019. Toby is 17. First year in the university. It's a whole new world to him. He's never had this much freedom. He's studying computer science because he's always had an interest for computers and hoped to be a computer software engineer someday. The first month is great, seeing different kind of people for the first time. After 3 months of school, COVID hits. He has to stay home for almost a year. He can't get a job because half of the world is on pause. After COVID, he's back in school, and the session runs for 3 months before school pauses again. Lecturers are on strike due to the lack of funding and abandonment of the teachers by the government. Salaries haven't been paid in 6 months. Strike goes on for 9 months. Another 9 months that Toby has to stay at home, just because of the negligence of education by the government. 18 months without education in 2 years. After the strike, that goes back to school. Things have gotten worse at home because his parents just can't keep up. Toby starts to survive on his own. He needs to find ways to make money. He starts to help students complete assignments for money to survive. He began to make a living out of it, pays for the school fees the next year all by himself. He believes he's getting the hang of life and just generally surviving. His sister gets into a different school the next year, needs money to get an apartment, but that's settled by the parents. That means Toby doesn't get money to renew his own rent, forced to live with a couple of friends because he either renews his rent or pays his school fees, which already went up by 30% from the last time. He chooses his school fees. He survives the 3rd year of school. He's become almost completely independent. Final year is here. His 4-year course is almost ending, but he's run into some obstacle. The school fees that was raised by 30% last year is now raised another 100% from last year. Rent also went up 50%. His normal way of getting money can't keep up anymore. He needs to find a way to get money as soon as possible. He notices some of his peers in class that don't feel the same financial pressure that he feels, the same ones that used to pay him for completing their assignments. He meets one of them and asks how they make money, because he's been a friend and helped. They open up to him, introduces him to a world he never expected. He learns about fraud, but he's really afraid because of his morals from home. He backs out and promises to find new and legal ways to make money. He gets home, picks up his laptop, and Googles how to make money in 3 months. Nothing useful really comes up.
But he learns and goes into freelancing, tries to go into graphics design and be a designer for brands, gets a job in the first 5 days of searching, says to himself,
It's a start. But the very first time he gets to work, electricity goes out. His laptop is very power dependent, so he couldn't do anything other than hope and pray for electricity to come back up. But it doesn't. 2 days pass by. Client is frustrated. Toby doesn't get paid and can't find a new client because his rating has been messed up. But he doesn't give up. Finds a client physically, gets some work done, gathers up some money, pays his school fees. He feels good again. About to graduate, written his second semester exam, and is excited about graduating to finally get a job. But he gets a call. It's a lecturer from a course he took in the first semester. Lecturer say, 9 a.m., my office, be prompt. He doesn't know what to expect. He gets to the office, well-dressed, and the lecturer gets straight to the point. You failed the exam you took last semester. You have to rewrite it. Toby falls to his knees. He can't believe it. His pursuit for some money to pay his fees has made him fall back on his studies. He pleads with the lecturer to help him, and he's offered another solution. The lecturer says, to this account, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. He leaves the office with the account number in his hands, staring at it. His parents calls, congratulating him and excited about graduation. He plays along, doesn't say anything to them, and just laughed. He decides, I have to graduate this year. After 8 months of avoiding the fraud guys in his class, he goes back to them. I need some cash. I'm ready to learn. He's smart. He gets the hang of it quickly, and in 12 days, boom. He makes his first $600 by scamming a white woman in Europe. Just like that, he's made money that he's spent to survive in the last 1 year in 10 days. He pays the lecturer and sends some money to his sister. He graduates with a 2.2 result. Doesn't care at this point. He's just happy he survived school. This is the year 2024. The economic situation worsens. President Tinubu got into office. When he goes back home, he abandons fraud for a while because he believes he never has to do it again. He begins to find a job, but it's way harder than he thinks. He's been home for 5 to 6 months doing nothing. His parents still struggling. He decided to settle down for a job as a receptionist. The pay is 100,000 naira. At the end of the first month, he realized he has to pay some debt to some friends because he borrowed some money to buy some clothes to start work and also for transport. 10 days into the new month, he starts to borrow again. He doesn't have any money. The cycle continues for 3 months. His dad gets ill. He's ignored at the hospital because he can't pay. Toby starts to slack at work and gets fired. He remembers he knows a way to make money quick. He gets home, picks up his old laptop, and gets to work. Making money seems a little bit difficult this time. It takes him a bit of time to gather some money, but by then, it's a bit late. His dad's condition gets worse. He dies after a while. Toby loses someone dear to him and really hates how he feels. Promises he's never going to let that happen again. He now works twice as hard as a scammer, because that's the only way he knows how to make money that's enough to take care of his family. He's really smart, so it comes easy to him. He took his family out of the old apartment they've been living for the past 15 years. He gets a car for himself, and now doing very well. His friends from school asks how and what he's doing. He tells them. They get involved too. He gets arrested once, but is freed in no time because the anti-fraud enforcement is now on his payroll. They turn a blind eye. He now feels like he wasted his whole time going to school. Younger kids hear about how he gets money now, and they also think this is how to make money. School and education is no longer priority. This is the reality of 80% of the youths in the country. Toby was just one of the victims of the system the government in Nigeria is running. No clear plan to create employment, even after Toby tries to make a living out of a normal job. Nothing legal worked. No electricity. families being plunged further into poverty the harder they work. These are the dangers of an incompetent government in power.